The Bible predicts the moral state of mankind at the end of the age. Are we witnessing these very things?
Jesus said in Matthew 24, verses 4 and 5, that in the last days many would come in his name, proclaiming that they were the Christ, and would deceive many. As I've traveled around the world in the past several years, I've actually encountered people who are following leaders who proclaim that they are the Christ. And this is not just happening in one or two countries, this is happening worldwide. For example, while I was speaking in Moscow, an individual jumped up, interrupted the meeting, and said that what I was telling them about the Bible wasn't true, that they were following the Messiah, the true Messiah, and what he was telling them was the truth, and that the people should follow that message rather than the Bible.
There was an itinerant preacher, ex-carpenter, had never been outside of the little tiny country of Israel, and he dared to say, in the last days, many will come in my name. They're not going to call themselves Buddha, they're not going to call themselves Confucius, they're going to call themselves the Christ. That was pretty audacious, and yet we've got all kinds of people today who claim to be Jesus Christ.
I'm God.
You people that interviewed this gentleman today, I don't think you knew who you interviewed, but you interviewed God.
Their lives cut short by a madman claiming to be God, the reincarnation of Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ was a great master, like our master is today. The Word made flesh, as the Bible puts it.
Jesus himself warned us that in the last days many would come claiming to be Christ and Messiah. The landscape today is literally crawling with individuals claiming to be Christ, and the Eastern gurus are right on the top of the list.
We have seen so many people today who are making claims to being the Messiah. The latest being Farrakhan, who has just announced that he is the modern-day Messiah. And many are being deceived. Jesus said, for false messiahs and false prophets will rise. They'll show great signs and wonders and deceive, if possible, even the elect. There are so many today in the New Age movement who are claiming to be the messiahs or claiming to be channeling the wisdom of the messiahs for these days. There is the Shirley MacLaine declaring that she is God. It's an amazing thing to me, again, the lies that men will believe once they've rejected the truth. The words of Christ are being fulfilled before our eyes. These are the signs of the last days, according to Jesus.
Over the past several decades, I have been following the pattern in society today where people are incredibly interested in the metaphysical, mystical, occultic dimension. And this is something that is literally happening in every nation around the world. Today, throughout the world, the concept is that God is everything, because people have embraced an Eastern metaphysical worldview. They're turning to yoga, to meditation, out-of-body experiences, a belief in crystal consciousness. The ideas that we have considered as pagan in the past are being embraced today as the new spirituality and literally being embraced around the world.
1 Timothy 4 verse 1 says, now the Spirit expressly says that in latter times some will depart from the faith, giving heed to deceiving spirits and doctrines of demons. You know, I've traveled around the world interviewing people who've been on drugs, psychedelics, practicing yoga, under hypnosis. There are about a couple hundred ways to reach an altered state of consciousness. In a normal state of consciousness, your spirit operates your brain. In an altered state, you've loosened that connection, allowing another spirit to interpose itself, tick off the neurons in your brain, creating a universe of illusion. It talks about they will give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. One of the big things today is channeling, communication with spirit beings. It's in the business world. And as I said, I've traveled around the world interviewing people, and I can tell you this, there is a commonality of the information that comes to them. They all get the same revelation from these spirit entities.
Paul talked about the doctrines of demons, 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1, that would be involved in a deception which would also occur in the name of Christianity. He talked about many people that would lead people astray, and this was what we see taking place. One of the greatest deceptions that is occurring in our time is happening in the name of Christianity, as people are embracing a form of Christianity based on extra-biblical experiences.
You're bringing a child into this environment. Do you think this is good for him?
I know this is good for him. The Bible says bring that child up in the way it should go. This is the way. There was something else completely controlling my body.
All kinds of strange things are happening in the name of Christianity.
We see the rise of satanic worship, of the satanic cults. We hear it with the musicians. We see it invading the culture of the youth today. And we see the young people doing such horrible things, unthinkable things, because they are being drawn into these satanic cults. Why could they be drawn into these things? Because they have been held back from the truth of the gospel. Because their parents haven't shared with them what God's truth is.
We have an epidemic of young people participating in some strata of Satanism.
I would take a portion of the blood or the body and drink it or eat it.
All religions are coming around to Satanism. We're in the very throes of a new satanic age. The evidence is all around us. All we have to do is look at it.
Shemhan Farah. Shemhan Farah. Hail Satan.
There is this fascination for the occult because they do not have the truth of God in their heart. Never before have we seen such an explosion of fortune-telling, hypnotism, psychics, magicians, and Dungeons and Dragons, and these kinds of things that we see in our world today.
And I've tried a few different things, witchcraft and Krishna and stuff like that. I'm free and open, but I believe, like Rob, that God's were just invented to help give you a reason why to live, because you don't know the answers why you're here.
I think we are totally becoming more tolerant. Crime and things that people do in society is dropping the morals, and it's making us more tolerant.
Less people are going to church. There's a decline in moral values, ethical values, again attributed to parental control.
We as adults, we have a tendency to say one thing and we do another, but we expect for kids to do exactly what we tell them when we're showing them something totally different. Other words, do as I say and not as I do.